I'm very appreciative, certainly, to be invited and honored to be with you all today at the Heritage Foundation as we celebrate 50 years, which is hard to believe. Certainly an iconic institution, all the work that each of you have done, the years that we have all come together to make a very powerful, positive difference in our states and in our country. You know, I was thinking back about 50 years, this is back when bell bottoms and disco reigned. A few of us remember that, right? But that's when the Heritage Foundation was born, was given life. To come together and to throw out those very positive conservative ideas, to then in turn them into policies, which in turn became laws for all of us. Thank goodness for the steadfastness of the Heritage Foundation to do just that at a time when we certainly needed those conservative ideas, those principles, the foundation. But the basis was to keep us on the right pathway. Unfortunately, we look back and we go, well, that sounds familiar right now. Again, those were turbulent times 50 years ago. And sometimes you say, well, the more things change, the more things stay the same. Kind of looking back and thinking again about the 70s and 50 years ago, and you look at all the 70s fashion that we see has now come back. Don't you all wish you'd saved your clothes? How about those vinyl records? I wish I'd kept all those. They're all new. We all have had to recycle those vinyls. ABBA's more popular than ever. Who would have thought that, right? But what it did at that point, too, it also made us think about we really need to be grounded in our conservative values, that those principles are what we all stand for. That's what we're compassionate about. And in 50 years, things have become much more turbulent now. As Dr. Roberts said, we live in a society where they can't even decide what the definition of a man or a woman is. We didn't see that coming 50 years ago. But society needs us to be strong, to be that rock, to be each one of us providing that guidance, that insight for conservatism. They need the tradition of freedoms. Absolutely, we need the rule of law. And certainly, we need to protect the inherent right of all human lives. So the Heritage Foundation has certainly done that, but most importantly, it's each of you. Thank you. Thank you for giving of yourselves. Thank you for giving of your time, your talents, your efforts to make a difference. Because if you weren't standing strong, we wouldn't be here right now. We wouldn't be talking about what are our next steps. How do we provide that guidance in our states and in our country? So I'm grateful for each of you. Again, you are making the difference. And thank you for stepping up at this very, very important time. We looked back over 50 years, and we've certainly had some challenges and some losses as conservatives we've all gone through. We think about Obamacare, Dodd-Frank, the Consumer Finance Protection Board. None were very good for our country and certainly steered far away from our conservative values and principles. But guess what? We've also had some tremendous wins. Tremendous wins, and I want to thank all of you because the biggest win is we've all stood together, unified, certainly Heritage being a partner all the way through. Through the Mississippi Dobbs case, we overturned Roe v. Wade. What an exciting time for all of us. For 50 years, we all waited. For 50 years, we stood shoulder to shoulder. For 50 years, we waited for that decision to come down, which clearly said Roe was unconstitutional. That was a true affront to the democracy of the United States, and certainly a case where all should be returned to the states. The states should make the decisions. It was significant that states be given the opportunity to make that policy. You elect your legislators, your governor, and that is your voice, and it should always be given back to the states. So we're so grateful that has been returned through the Mississippi Dobbs case. And definitely that case was there when we got there. And so there was never a question. We're appealing it. We're moving forward. We're going to do whatever it takes. Now, we filed our petition. We waited. They re-enlisted it 22 times. Many of you know on Fridays are when the Supreme Court justices select their cases. And we'd wait, and Friday would come and go, and nothing. But as you all did, and we did, we prayed, we continued to be steadfast. And on a Monday, they opted to take our case up. So I'll tell you, I was with some of my colleagues, coming back from a Republican AG meeting where we'd been talking about what we would continue to do as a unified front. And my chief of staff called and she said, "They've taken up our case. The Dobbs case has been taken up." And I said, "On a Monday?" And I was in the airport. So note to self, always look good in the airport, right? Because I did see my face immediately up on all the screens. And I was looking good because that certainly taught my lesson. But how significant for our country that day when we got that decision that the court said they would take up the Mississippi Dobbs case. Wow. Now, this is a credit to all of you because we did this together. We all stood strong. My name might have been on that brief. I was definitely in that courtroom the day of the argument, but we all did this. This is a victory for all of us because you all stood so strong for 50 years. Think about the endless hours that were spent on the sidewalks counseling. How about the marches year in and year out? The prayers, the support. The many times that you wrote letters and emails and called your legislators year after year to talk about life, to talk about the importance of life decisions being returned to the states. So it was an easy opportunity for us to write in our brief, overturn Roe v. Wade. I said, "You can't do that." I said, "Absolutely we can. Absolutely. All they can do is tell us no." But it was important that we stay strong to what we all believed in. And so as we were able to do that and we looked back at all the many, many lives that had been lost for 50 years, this was the opportunity to say, give that back. Let's save those lives. And the entire theme of our brief, our argument, and what we stand strong on today was empower women and promote life. That it didn't have to be either or. Even though 50 years ago said we did. But this is a new battle. In this new era, we have some options, some opportunities that we all need to address, for sure. You know, in that 50-year narrative, it said in Roe that you had to pick either or, and that certainly abortion supported women only. Well, as I said, we didn't believe that narrative, and we rewrote that and said, no, you can empower women and you can promote life at the same time. There was no reason to pit a woman against her greatest human instincts, against her strongest human ties to a young baby. So as we've come around, and now we're moving into the new Dobbs era, and I say that because the post-Roe kind of pulls us back, right? That's a little more demeaning. Let's talk about it in a positive way. Let's call it the new Dobbs era that we all are living in together. And you know, as we wrote in our brief to the justices, we're all ready for the job. We asked for it. We're believers. We believe in what we can accomplish together. We never hesitated to ask those justices, give us the role, give us the options, the opportunities, because we can do it. And so here we are. Those justices agreed, right? It gives us the opportunity to be very bold, to be creative, to look at ideas that we can implement across our communities, across our states, and make our country stronger. We now have to find a way to match our compassion. And everyone in this room is compassionate about life. We're compassionate about how we wrap our love and support around these mothers-to-be, these young mothers, these children. We're very compassionate about that. But now we must match that compassion with the laws and the justice for these mothers and their children. And in this new era, we need to think about what can we do? Again, how do we look at things differently? We have a new perspective, which we didn't have last year. But I'm pretty sure everybody in this room can remember where you were last June 24th, 2022. What an amazing day, right? Wow. Life truly changed for all of us on that day. But what it did is it also gave us a new pathway to think again about how we can look at these as opportunities, options to step in. This is not a time to shy away. This is a time for everybody in this room to step in, to be supportive of women, and to protect life at the same time. So my team and I have been working on a new initiative called the Empowerment Project. The Empowerment Project. And it's built on 5 pillars to really fulfill what we think are the basic foundations on how we can help society, our empowerment for our women, for our children. And that's so key. First, make quality child care affordable and accessible. Again, thank you. Those young babies are going to be us one day, right? So we need to begin right off how we can help those children, help those mothers, and make it affordable. Second of all, we've got to talk about workplace flexibility, have the options in our workplace. Again, significant to our workforce. Again, how we all move forward with these women and the children. Enhance child support. Very important as we look across our mothers and our children to have child support properly given to them. And here's the very hard one. We've got to fix the broken foster care and adoption systems. Too many children are falling through the cracks and not put in homes very quickly that will love and support them. And lastly, on the last pillars, we really do have to empower these women. We've got to provide them with resources, help them get educated, upskilled, to have their best day. And that's on all of us to make that happen. And you know what? We can do that. We can do every one of these things as conservatives, right? These are very conservative, heartfelt opportunities for us to all step into. Well, I'm pleased to tell you that as I've been working with our Mississippi legislature, and they just left a few weeks ago, they understood immediately that we needed to pivot to this. We'd won this tremendous Dobbs case that affected not only the state of Mississippi, but our country. And again, what are next steps? What would we do? And I'm very grateful to the Mississippi legislature because just to give you a few of the things that they passed that are part of the Empowerment Project. Tax credits for adoption, for foster care, pregnancy resource centers, and child care. That's an amazing array of tax credits to start right off the bat. They enhanced our child support laws. Again, very significant Because, again, we've got to stop these parents from gaming the system at the expense of the children. That's just unacceptable. Actually passed a new foster parents' Bill of Rights and Responsibility to really help and give guidance and direction for our foster parents. Passed some legislation to allow us to streamline moving children from foster care into forever homes. Again, for the children. And here's my favorite. They passed the MAMA program. That's the Mississippi Access to Maternal Assistance. I personally like that, the MAMA program. We're going to run it out of our office. It's significant. It's going to be a new app for mothers to be, young mothers, so they can have one stop. They can get on that app and see, well, all these different things are available to me, and I just need to click on my county, my city, to see what different opportunities, what resources are there. So we are so excited because it's a public-private partnership that we'll do to have this available coming through our office. You know, and this you have to look at it and you go, wow, this is just conservatism at its best, because we're not talking about any new money. We're not talking about another government bureaucracy program being put into place. This is taking our resources and putting those all together. So that's significant. So we hope that as this empowerment project is being put in place, that other states will look at it. We're certainly excited about sharing what we've done in our state. Again, but challenging everyone to come together, because this is a call of action. And as we make these changes for these mothers to be, we create stronger families. Stronger families create stronger communities, which creates stronger states, which again allow us the opportunity to nurture, to grow, develop each of our respective states. Again, we have to step up and realize we've been given this opportunity, and we need to all lead on this every direction that we can. You know, it is truly a call to action. You know, after the decision came down, a lot of people said, oh my goodness, you've all won. We did win, and to God be the glory. But you know what? Now the new chapters start. The pages are blank, and all of us get to write the narrative, right? Wow. An incredible time for all of us in our country to think that we've been given this option. So I'm hopeful that as we move forward, again, we have the opportunity to be creative, the opportunity to look at ways that we can empower women and promote life, that we share ideas, that we make it this conservative values and principles the nexus of what we do, knowing that we've been given this option to really go out and help mothers-to-be, and their children. You know, Roe v. Wade is now history, and we all changed that together with our compassion, our steadfastness, our belief that tomorrow would be a better day, and now it's here. So as we do have this new option, the future ahead of us, please continue to give of yourselves. Please think differently. Think about what we have been charged with and how we move forward together. Because you know what? We are stronger as we are united. We are stronger as we stand shoulder to shoulder. As we never compromise our integrity, we never compromise our beliefs of who we are, of our conservative and Christian values, and that we always hold strong to that. So thank you. Thank you again for all you've done, and thank you for all that you will do to make tomorrow a better day for our states and for our country. And I pray that God blesses you in all that you do and all that you will continue to do. Thank you so much. May God bless you.